In this video I will answer the 6 most common questions asked inside the sauna subreddit. So if you want to learn more about saunas, you are in the right place. My name is Veeti, I'm a Finnish sauna expert, and since starting our business in 2022, I have helped over 1,000 US-based sauna builders make their sauna dreams come true. Let's get straight into the questions. So we have the casual bartender man here asking, at what point is sauna too hot? To summarize this a little bit, he says that his gym sauna reaches a max temperature of 260 degrees Fahrenheit, and he's asking what temperature is too hot for the sauna. He thinks that 240 to 260 is just unbearable or even unhealthy to be exposed to that level of heat at prolonged periods of time. I think this is a typo. The guy here probably means that his gym sauna is typically 160 degrees Fahrenheit. The simple reason is that most sauna heaters are limited to 195 degrees Fahrenheit, including Harvia, Amerec, Sauna heaters and everything from Sauna 360. Basically, UL Listing, which is a US-based safety listing agency, requires the sauna heater supplied to North America to be limited to 195 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's why the heaters can't simply reach higher temperatures. There is a sensor inside the heater and sensor on the wall, and when those sensors show that the sauna is more than 195 degrees Fahrenheit, the heaters just shut off. There is only one exception to this rule, which is called HUUM, H-U-U-M. So this Estonian design sauna heater manufacturer basically decided to say, fuck these UL listings, they are not suitable for sauna construction, which is actually correct. They are not suitable for sauna construction, but let's talk more about that in a separate video. But what HUUM did is that they listed their sauna heaters as space heaters, which allows the heaters to be limited to 230 degrees Fahrenheit. But whatever the case might be in this gym, sauna heaters can't reach 260 degrees Fahrenheit due to these limiters inside the heaters and on the walls. Let's proceed and answer the question, what is absolutely too hot as a sauna temperature? So let me give you a quick story that is going to illustrate what kind of sauna is too hot. In Finland, we held sauna going championships from 1999 until 2010. Competitors in these championships were mostly Finnish, Russian, Estonian and Swedish people, with few foreigners in the mix every now and then. The championship format was rather simple. Competition started with preliminary round, out of which the 6 most durable sauna goers earned their way into the final. In preliminary round, all competitors went inside the sauna tent, which was 110 Celsius or 230 degrees Fahrenheit start with. Competitors draw water onto the heater from buckets themselves to increase temperature and humidity and to force weaker sauna goers out of the sauna. The 6 guys in preliminary round who were still inside the sauna, so when everyone else had left and there was 6 guys left, these 6 guys made it to the final of sauna going championships. In the final, the format was very similar. Sauna started from 230 degrees Fahrenheit or 110 Celsius. However, the water was drawn to the sauna heater by automatic steam creating system, so automatic löyly system. This system worked in a way that there was a pipe above the sauna heater, and this pipe dropped 0.5 liters, so half a liter or 17 fluid inches of water onto the sauna heater every 30 seconds. What competitors had to do is that they had to put their thumbs up after each drop of water to show the judges that they were still in and still alive and functional inside the sauna. We Finns stopped holding these competitions after the final in 2010. Why, you may ask? In 2010 final of the sauna going championships, the 2 last guys who were the only ones left inside the sauna didn't raise their thumbs up after 4 minutes and the last drop of löyly when that water went onto the heater. So the organizers had to go and drag these 2 guys out of the sauna because they didn't respond at all. One of these guys unfortunately died directly on the spot. Another one was rushed into a hospital and he spent 2 months in coma after spending 4 minutes in this sauna that started as 230 degrees Fahrenheit and the water was drawn every 30 seconds for half a liter or 17 fluid inches. So drawing that water basically raised the temperature, raised the humidity, and yeah, so that's what happened in the 2010 Sauna Coin Championships. The guy who went to the hospital or was rushed to the hospital luckily survived. He's called Sauna Timo. We can put a picture of him here, and he is a legend here in Finland. So to answer the question that led us into this story, basically anything above 230 degrees Fahrenheit will eventually kill you if you spend multiple minutes inside the sauna and throw water onto the sauna heater while it's that hot. If you ask my opinion, everything above 180 degrees Fahrenheit is way too hot. I have tried 200, I have tried 210 and 220, but that's not enjoyable for me, and I think sauna should be about enjoyment, so I enjoy my sauna sessions on 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Can I pour water onto the sauna rocks? So different format of this question gets asked a lot in different forums, in Reddit and all other sauna places every single day. So there is this misconception in North America that you couldn't throw water onto your sauna heater because some gyms and some people have decided to create something called dry sauna, which actually does not exist, and it's not a concept, it's just a word that was invented in North America to basically describe a sauna where you don't throw water on the heater. But all Finnish and Estonian sauna heaters and all traditional sauna heaters can handle water to be thrown into them. And throwing water into them creates the best and the most enjoyable air, the steamy air that is called load. So yes, you can throw water onto your sauna heater. Why do these gym saunas then say that it's a dry sauna or you can throw water into them? The reason is simple. They have no way to get rid of that water and rid of that humidity that creating the steam, that throwing the water on the heater creates. So these saunas are incorrectly constructed. They don't have a drain possibly, they don't have a ventilation system that would exhaust the humid air out of the building. So they just don't have correctly constructed Finnish sauna that would be capable of taking the water. Or then they are just ignorant and have thought that since this is an electric device, you can pour water into it. But yes, you can pour water onto all Finnish sauna heaters. And no, I don't know if you can do that with those Chinese Vevor sauna heaters. I don't know about those ones, but at least to all proper sauna heaters you can pour water, and you should.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
I own a company called The Sauna Heater or thesaunaheater.com, and we sell the highest quality sauna equipment in the USA. Whether you need a full-blown Finnish sauna, a sauna heater or any equipment for your sauna construction project, we got you covered. Head to www.thesaunaheater.com and you can chat or call our experts, me included, and we will help you select the best possible gear for your sauna project. Now let's get back to the video. The third question we have today is why my sauna doesn't cool down after usage. So let's read a little bit more what the user is asking here. Traditional Pi 3572 is saying, just got a new sauna. I have a cool down question. My sauna room is fairly close to my electrical closet and IDF room in a big house, so lots of wires. The sauna is well insulated. I have an automatic fan inside the sauna and one outside the sauna. First use was a couple of days ago around 8 p.m. Sauna was amazing at 190 degrees Fahrenheit. When it was time to cool down, I turned on both fans, but hours later, with the doors closed, the temperature went down to 150-ish. I can't run the fan all night. So why his sauna isn't cooling down? The reason is that he probably has a great high quality sauna heater which has a lot of rocks inside a cage. So how saunas works is the heating elements inside electric sauna heater, in the wood burning sauna heater, heat up the stones around these heating elements or to the fire chamber, and then these stones radiate most equal and most enjoyable heat towards the sauna covers. So these rocks have high thermal capacity, so when you have high quality heater that creates the best possible heat, even after the sauna has turned off, these rocks are going to cool down very slowly because they have very high thermal capacity. So the reason that his sauna is not cooling down is that he has a sauna heater with loads of rocks, and these rocks are slowly radiating the heat away from the sauna heater. What I would ask here is that why it's so important that the sauna cools down quickly, and what I would say is that all best saunas, it's going to take time to cool down. except if you do something like open your door to a cold environment or whatever. But if you just leave your sauna and turn it off, it's going to stay warm for hours and hours if you have a great sauna heater. Our fourth question for today is, can I use locally collected rocks on my sauna heater? So this question gets asked a lot. People call us and ask this question. People ask this question on the forums and on Reddit a lot. And the simple answer is that no, you can't use locally collected sauna stones, or if you do, you are probably going to ruin your sauna experience and you are risking your health in the process. So natural stones usually have sulfur compounds inside the stone that turn into gases when heated. So these compounds will damage your sauna heater, and might smell bad. Also, natural stones are not very durable, and some of the stones can literally explode when heated. Even the ones that can handle the heating usually don't have high thermal capacity. They are not the type of rocks that can rather quickly heat up from the heat that comes from the heating elements of a sauna heater or from the fire chamber, and then give out the heat equally. So typically the saunas that have local stones, first of all, the saunas go bad. Also, you can damage your health multiple ways. And lastly, if you have, let's say you have an electric sauna heater, your sauna will be like a microwave because the stones won't properly restore the heat and give it out to sauna goers, and your sauna won't be heated by the stones, but your sauna will be heated by the heating elements. So you will have a microwave type of sauna where you have this electrically wavy heat. So you can't use locally collected stones. I have to add here lastly that stones that are used in proper sauna heaters are industrially mined from the same mine in central Finland. So obviously these stones also come from the nature. So if you can find vulcanite stone, or olivine diabase stone is what it's called, then you can use this inside a sauna heater. But since this stone is industrially mined, it's very rare to find it from somewhere, and you definitely won't find it from the river next to your house. Fifth question, where should I place my indoor sauna? So Dr. Mr. Pepper is saying, have a chance to pick up and almost have an indoor sauna for a good deal. The only place with enough room is my garage. Is there any risk to using an indoor sauna in a garage? My only fear is our garage gets pretty humid, and I'm not sure if that presents any issues. Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Mr. Pepper. So this presents issues indeed. So sauna is a hot and humid environment. As said, the best air inside the sauna and the most enjoyable air in traditional sauna comes from throwing water onto the sauna rocks, and the humidity obviously has to escape somewhere. So it depends how your house is constructed, but if you increase the humidity inside your house too much, you will have your house rot and decay over time, so you will damage your house structure. So you have to be very careful where you put your indoor sauna. And what you might want to do is that you might want to connect your exhaust ventilation outlet to a pipe that leads outdoors, so you can get all the humidity thrown away from your house. So be careful with where you place your indoor sauna. And I also have to say that most of these indoor saunas that you can get in the US, I'm not going to name any brands, but they might not be so good. So be careful with those. All indoor saunas in Finland are basically constructed to a room itself, so they are integral part of a house. Last question of the day. Why some sauna goers use sauna hat? So this is an interesting one. Basically, the air in the sauna is always going to be layered because hot air is always going to be lighter than cold air. So cold air plummets on the bottom of the sauna and hot air rises to the top. The temperature differences are going to be minimal if the sauna is correctly constructed and if you have a great ventilation. But especially if your sauna is not correctly constructed, you can have huge temperature differences in the sauna. So your feet will be cold and head can be hot, and this will be a problem. However, even in correctly constructed saunas, you have some temperature differences, and the idea of sauna is not to fry your head. You would like to heat your body equally. So when you put on a sauna hat, the hat acts actually opposite to what it does in the winter. So the hat will keep your head cooler. And that is why you can enjoy sauna longer, you can sweat more, and you can absorb more of the heat through your body and not through your head. Because if you just heat your head, you will be forced out of the sauna. So that's the functional reason that sauna hats are used. Also, many sauna goers like to use the sauna hat just for the vibes that it gives for them. That's all for today. If you are interested in learning more about ventilating your sauna, I recommend you to watch this video where I talk about the sauna ventilation and how to do it.